Hello, my dear B.Ed first year trainees. In today's class, we shall start the topic Jerome Bruner's theory of cognitive development. In last class, we already studied the theory of Jean Piaget's cognitive development. First, introduction. Jerome Bruner is a psychologist who focused much of his research on the cognitive development of children and how it relates to education. While he has made many contributions to the field of psychology, his greatest contributions have been in the educational field. Initially, Brunner was interested in how the mind organized and categorized information because his early career focused on cognitive psychology. Piaget theory played a large role in his initial study. My dear students, Brunner was interested in how the mind organized and categorized information. Mind organized and categorized information. Information. He interested to know the how the mind is organized and categorized the information. Then theoretical representation. Brunner theorized that learning occurs by going through three stages of representation. Three stages of representation. It's very important. Three stages of representation. Each stage is a way in which information or knowledge are stored and encoded in memory. Which information or knowledge are stored and encoded in memory. The stage, the stages, the stages are more or less sequential, although they are not necessarily age-related like Piaget-based theories. Going through the stages is essential to truly understanding the concept as it helps the learner understand why. Next, Brunner's series of representation. Brunner's stages of representation. Here, basically important three stages are there. First one is inactive or action based. Second one is iconic or image based. Third one is symbolic, or language based. These are the three stages of learning. First, inactive or action based. Second, iconic or image based. Third, symbolic or language based. First, we shall discuss one by one. Inactive, inactive or action based. Something called the concrete stage. This first stage involves a tangible hands on methods of learning. Bruner believed that learning begins with an action, touching, feeling, and manipulating. Inactive appears first. It involves encoding action based information and storing it in our memory. Something called the it is a concrete stage. Concrete means what? Visible things. Generally, uh, babies or infants are reacting through their memory. They are representing actions. Generally, their body showing their body actions. For example, touching, then feeling, and manipulating. Inactive appears first. For example, in the form of movement as a muscle memory. A baby might remember the action of shaking a rattle, shaking a rattle. इस तरह खिलौना बच्चा जो खेलता है उस तरह. The child represent past events through motor responses. That is, an infant will shake a rattle which has just been removed or dropped, as if the movements themselves are expected to produce the accustomed sound. And this is not just limited to children. छोटे बच्चे आवाज़ दिलाने वाले खिलौने हिलाना या उसको मारना या बार बार साउंड जो आवाज़ आती है उसको सुनना, इस तरह से बार बार एक्शन दिखाना, इस तरह बच्चे क्या है अपना इनएक्टिव यानी एक्शंस दिखाते हुए सीखते हैं. ये इनका एक बेसिक लर्निंग है. दिस इज द बेसिक लर्निंग ऑफ infants or babies. Many adults can perform a variety of motor tasks, for example, typing, saving, etc. यहाँ पर adults भी क्या है एक्शन बेस्ड वर्क यहाँ पर दिखाते हैं. अपने मेमोरी के हिसाब से स्टोर करके नॉलेज जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरी में स्टोर करते हुए टाइपिंग, स्टेनोग्राफी, कंप्यूटर टाइपिंग, देन सेविंग एक्सेट्रा, अलग अलग यहाँ पर काम दिखाना. ये भी इसको कहते हैं कि मोटार मोटार टास्क. दिस इज द inactive stage. Then second one is iconic. Image based. This stage called the pictorial stage. It involves images or other visuals to represent the concrete situation enacted in the first stage. It also called as a pictorial stage. Iconic or picture. It involves images or other visuals to represent the concrete situation enacted in the first stage. One way of doing this is to simply draw images of the objects on paper or to picture them in one's head. Other ways could be through the use of shapes, diagrams and graphs. बच्चे सेकंड स्टेज में क्या है, धीरे धीरे पिक्चर ड्रॉ करना, उसको सीखना और उसी तरह डेवलप होते होते अलग अलग शेप्स ड्रॉ करना, डायग्राम बनाना, ग्राफ बनाना, इस तरह सीखते हैं। यहाँ पर बच्चों को पेन पेपर यूज़ करके कैसे ड्रॉ करना है, इमेजेस वगैरह, डायग्राम्स सीख लेते हैं। द आइकॉनिक स्टेज अपीयर्स फ्रॉम 1 to 6 years old. This stage involves an internal representation of external objects visually in the form of mental image or icon. यहाँ पर 1 से 6 साल के बच्चों के इंटरनली जो माइंड में जो इंफॉर्मेशन नॉलेज आने के बाद में क्या है, एक्सटर्नल ऑब्जेक्ट्स जो दिखाई देता है उसको रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। बच्चों के मेंटल में इमेज और आइकॉन जैसे प्रिंट होता है उसी तरह उसको बाहर एक्सटर्नल उसको रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। एक बार आप उनको कोई चीज़ या कोई इमेज या आइकॉन बताने के बाद वो अगर उनके माइंड में अगर प्रिंट हो गया, इमेज अगर स्टोर हो गया, तो नेक्स्ट उसको दूसरी मर्तबा उसको रिप्रेजेंट करके बताएंगे। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, a child drawing an image of a tree or thinking of an image of a tree would be representative of this stage. For example, एक ट्री या कोई अलग पिक्चर ड्रॉ करके दिखाने के बाद में उसको थिंक करेंगे, नेक्स्ट उसको क्या है वही ट्री बोल के रिप्रेजेंट करके दिखाएंगे। दिस इज द लर्निंग ऑफ iconic or image. This is very important for any subject learning. For example, mathematics, science, social science. Uh, Science students are basically learning through their images or icons, and also very important for drawing learning. Then third stage is symbolic. Symbolic or language based. This is the last stage of learning according to Jerome Bruner. This is also called as a language based. This stage called as abstract stage. Abstract. Abstract means I already told you, which is not visible to us. That is called abstract. Abstract things. The last stage, this is the last stage, takes the images from the second stage and represents them using words and symbols. The use of words and symbols allows us students to organize the information in the mind by relating concepts together. The words and symbols are abstractions. They do not necessarily have a direct connection connecting to the information. Here, generally, alphabets, symbols, words, these are the abstract things. We are trying to teach them. For example, the letter of A, the letter of B, these are the letters. Example, they have children have to tell that is the A, that is the B. Means they are trying to understand, store there in the memory. Next time they can tell that is A, that is B, that is C, Same like in mathematics, that is a plus, that is a minus, that is a multiplication symbol, etc. Generally, symbols or any letters, these all are abstract things. Students have to understand the names of symbols or letters or words. These can be helps to their development of language. They can they can develop to talk the sentences, or they can represent the language. That is the third stage of development. Symbols are flexible in that they can be manipulated, ordered, classified, etc. So the user isn't constrained by actions or images. In this stage, knowledge is stored primarily as words, mathematical symbols, or in other symbol system. In mathematics level, generally we are using symbols. In the language level, we are using letters, then words, then sentences. So here, language is very important for human being. For this language, we have to first start to learn the letters, symbols, etc. So the this is the last stage of Jerome Bruner's theory, symbolic और लैंग्वेज बेस्ड लर्निंग. यहाँ पर थर्ड स्टेज में किसी भी इंसान स्टार्टिंग बचपन से ही बच्चे लैंग्वेज अगर सीखना चाहते हैं तो वो अलग अलग सिम्बॉल्स लेटर्स को सीखना पड़ेगा. A B C D इस तरह से कोई भी लैंग्वेज में जो उनके अलग तरह के अल्फ़ाबेट्स को सीखते हुए लैंग्वेज को लिखना पढ़ना और लैंग्वेज को बात करना इस तरह सीखेंगे. ये थर्ड वाला डेवलप्ड स्टेज है. देन एजुकेशनल इम्प्लीकेशंस. एजुकेशनल implications. It means educational significance. What is the importance of in our educational field? For effective teaching of abstract concepts. For the children, how to teach the abstract concepts effectively. To teach abstract concepts which are not visible things. For example, mathematical symbols, letters, words, we can teach effectively. The knowledge of this theory to the teacher is helps to the teacher to teach effectively the abstract concepts. Then mathematics may learn or understand by the symbolic representation. Mathematics is dependent on symbols. For example, plus, minus, multiplication, divided, many other symbols can be helps to the learning of mathematics. Next, listening, reading, observing may help the learning. For example, in language or other subject learning, listening first, reading, observing may help the learning. Then use of images such as chart, map, graphs, models, etc. may affect on students' learning. According to second stage, iconic or image based. For this for this based uses use of chart, map, model, any other pictures may help effective learning of any subject. Then students start the learning from action, visual and symbols, words, etc. Children are learning first in their serial wise. First action, then visual and symbols, then words, etc. आप देख सकते हैं कि फर्स्ट बच्चों को बेबी सिटिंग एलकेजी यूकेजी में ज़्यादातर एक्शन से कोई राइम्स पोएम हो जो भी हो उनको एक्शन बेस सिखाया जाता है। नेक्स्ट उसी तरह डेवलप होते होते क्या है, उनको पिक्चर्स दिखाते हुए, सिम्बल्स दिखाते हुए, चार्ट मैप एनी, फॉर एग्जांपल फ्रूट्स वेजिटेबल्स एनिमल्स, कोई अलग अलग तरीके के पिक्चर्स दिखाते हुए उनको सिखाते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल एप्पल, ऑरेंज, अदर वेजिटेबल्स, फ्रूट्स, एनिमल्स, इसी तरह। तो उनको क्या है, जस्ट उनको बताना है कि ओरली व्हाट इज़ दिस। नेक्स्ट क्या है, उनको जैसे ही डेवलप होते होते क्या है, नेक्स्ट हायर क्लासेस में उनको वर्ड्स सिखाते हैं, लेटर्स सिखाते हैं, लेटर्स के बाद वर्ड्स, वर्ड्स के बाद सेंटेंसेस, सेंटेंस के बाद लैंग्वेज। इस तरह क्या है, एक स्टेप वाइज लर्निंग प्रोसेस चलता है। देन presenting more examples, illustrations for quick and easy learning of abstract concepts। कोई भी जो abstract concepts है उसको सिखाना है तो ज़्यादा एग्जाम्पल देना, illustrations देना, इससे क्या है बच्चों को क्विक और इजी सीख सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट, theory helps the cognitive development how proceeds on children। it provides knowledge to the teachers or in the process of teaching and learning। आज हमारे एजुकेशन फील्ड में टीचिंग एज वेल एज लर्निंग प्रोसेस जो चलता है, इसमें नॉलेज प्रोवाइड करने के लिए बच्चों को ये जो थ्योरी है कॉग्निटिव डेवलपमेंट, बहुत ही अच्छा हमको इफ़ेक्टिवली एक आइडिया देने में आइडिया देती है। इट हेल्प्स टू आवर टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस, हाउ टू प्रोवाइड the knowledge to the knowledge to the students. It is very important theory for the for teachers teaching and as well as students learning. I hope all of you understood this theory. Thank you for watching and listening.